It is a scam when you don't allow everyone to operate on fair terms.
We are the Robin Hoods of sports betting. We take something back from the rich bookies and enable our customers to beat them instead.
Liverpool versus Manchester City. Looking at the odds here, I'll bring up on my screen. Manchester City, best odds you can get there around the 2.1 mark. Liverpool, you can get around 3.55. They're on Unibet and on the exchanges. And then looking into the draw there, you can get around 3.65 to 3.75 at a few bookmakers. Liverpool coming off that loss to Brighton yesterday, shock loss, the 1-0 loss at home too. Wasn't it? They were at home. Was it at...
The thing is, they were at home, but if you look at it, you think it's a shock loss. But if you watch the game, it wasn't a shock at all. Brighton completely outplayed Liverpool. It was ridiculous. But
yeah, looking at the XG, I believe that Brighton, I think they had level XG maybe, or maybe Brighton had a slight edge. But it was a bit of a shock if you think about it, because Liverpool were on a slight run. I think they'd won 2 games in a row. On the other hand, you've got Manchester City. They're flying. George's team on a 9-game win streak dating back to mid-December. But you would have to say, George, and you might agree with me here, this is probably their hardest game in the EPL for a long time. Some of those games were against some pretty ordinary teams, even though there is no real easy game in the EPL. George, mate, I think this is a great chance for. I mean, most people will probably say Man City have probably wrapped up the title by now, but you would think this will just, this will probably put a rubber stamp in their chase for the title.
Well, the thing is, I prefer these kind of games. These are actually games that I look forward to more and don't worry so much about, which sounds silly, but they'll come out and play against you. And so for a start, it's a much easier game to watch. You're not just trying to break down 11 men behind the ball. But when you look at current form, you sort of think, well, Liverpool aren't playing great. City are flying, as you said. So, it should be an interesting one. But I'm just waiting for the 15 minutes of season that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain decides to turn up and belt a 30-yarder into the top corner like he always does against us, and be 3-0 down after 20 minutes. But I don't know. I kind of look at this one, and it could be, if there's been any opportunity to break the duck of not winning at Anfield for, I think, since 2003, 2006, something like that, then this is the time to do it. This Liverpool side, they've failed to score in their last 3 home games, and in their last 4, they've only scored once, and that was against West Brom. So that's not really an accolade there. City have conceded 7 goals in 18 league games that Diaz has started. He's been an absolute revelation since he's come in. And quite rightly so, in that they're sort of discussing, the first 25 games of coming along. You look at Van Dijk's performance now; he completely transformed that Liverpool side. Yes, City are already a great side, but our defence was shambolic. How many seasons has it been? It's like City, City will score, but you'll always get a goal against them. They'll always give you a goal. Whereas since Diaz come in, he's shored at that back line. We've not had a player like him, I'd say, since Kompany. We've spent a lot of money trying to find decent centre halves. But the way he barks orders, the way he bosses that back line, the way he throws himself into... He loves defending. That's what's great about him. He prefers the art of defending. And we've not had a player like that since Kompany. So, it's been great to see him. And obviously, the way you can tell a good player is how they make the other players alongside them perform. And you can see that with John Stones, that he's been great. He's had to work hard to get back. But it looks like they've formed that partnership. And it looks like they not only get on the pitch, outside of it as well, there just seems to be a bond there. Well, I think this is vital for when you're playing, just that team ethic. City have kept a clean sheet in their last 6 Premier League home games. I mean, there's a couple of bets I quite like in this one. One is, it's slightly risky, but just looking at the kind of stats and the way that City have been performing at the back, you look at the prices of City have had to get a clean sheet in their game so far. I know that it's been against lower league opposition, but it's not been great odds. But you can get 3.5 on City to keep a clean sheet. In this one, and Liverpool, the goals are drying up for them. They've struggled to score at home. I don't even think last night. I think how many? I had 3-4 shots or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's drastically low for what we're accustomed to seeing from a Liverpool side. So I think 3.5. You can get that on Sky Bet for City to keep a clean sheet. I thought that was quite good. But the other angle I do quite like is in the shots market dipping in. So João Cancelo, who obviously plays at fullback, but he doesn't really play fullback. The way that City play allows Cancelo sort of free roam to go into that midfield to cause problems because no one knows the opposition don't know who to mark because they're suddenly being overloaded. And then since we beat United in the Cup, and that was back in early Jan, in the 4 games that he's played in the league since then, where he's played 45 minutes or more, he's had 2+ shots in all of them, and 3+ shots in 3 out of 4 of those. So against this Liverpool side, and I think it's going to be end to end, just about the way both teams set up to play football. I think there's value there because I believe it was just looking on again. This is on Sky Bet on Betfair. João Cancelo to have 2+ shots was 13-10. So what's that? 2.3. Whereas you can get 3.75 on Sky Bet for Cancelo to have 2 shots. And if you want to be a bit more dangerous and go for 3+ shots, you can get 9.5. And I think if he starts, the big thing is if he starts, I'm sure he will because he's been arguably one of the players of the season for City. I think that's a ridiculously good price. And on Sky Bet, that's far too high considering of how often it's been landed so far this season, the way that City are setting up and the way that Cancelo has sort of come into that team and his role within that. So I think those are potentially some good plays. So for me, I'd be having to go on a City clean sheet, but particularly Cancelo to have at least, to have 2+ shots at 3.75, sorry, I think is drastically overpriced.
And both those are on Sky Bet, mate?
Yeah, both of those are on Sky Bet.
All right, terrific. Nigel, have you got any thoughts on this game, mate?
Well, there's a couple of things. So firstly, there's been money all day today for Manchester City. When you think that they're unbeaten in 20 matches now and winning 13 matches against the Liverpool side, have got complete massive problems, you wouldn't be surprised. They open up at 220 with some bookmakers, and then I think they'll probably go off around about even money when kickoff time. I think, if you're looking at closing line value, Man City will probably start around evens. There's a couple of things you've got to be very wary of. I mean, George touched on it there. I mean, Man City's record at Anfield is terrible. They haven't won in 15. The last time they won was in 2008. And their share was number 1 in the charts, I believe, when they were. So that's how bad that long ago it was. And if you believe they could win, it's probably a bit of an omen in it for you. 8 of the last 9 games that 8 of the last 9 matches that Man City have won, they've won to 0. So they don't concede it, as George touched on. And also, Liverpool. I mean, that front three was just incredible. I mean, everyone's going about Van Dijk being out and problems that, but Liverpool have been quite solid defensively. The problem hasn't been defensively. The problem, apart from the Aston Villa game when Van Dijk played, but the problem for them has been offensively. Their attacking three just aren't the form they were. Salah's the top goal scorer in the Premier League, and he's been absolutely dreadful the last 6-7 games. I think he's been poor all season. Firmino, I mean, what is he? What I don't even know. Sometimes he's playing. I mean, he just seems to be lost the confidence. And the only one of that front three who I think is worth anything, who is a world-class player, is Mane, who they missed massively against Brighton. I mean, Liverpool have lost back-to-back games against 2 teams beginning with B. And if you said to me a year ago who that would be, I would have said it would have been Barcelona and Bayern Munich. I would never have said Burnley and Brighton. So that shows you how shockingly bad they are. I gave you a bet last week, and it was the trend of under goals in big, high-profile Premier League matches. You've got a team in Liverpool that can't score, and you've got a team in Manchester City who just do not concede. They're not going to be worried about that front three. And I'm leaning towards the under 2.5 goals here, which I think is a big price at 2.2. It was 1-1 in the reverse fixture. And the other thing...
Yeah, I was going to say you can get 2.27 for under 2.5 goals.
That's a big price, really, when you take it. It's a huge game for Liverpool. Liverpool have to win it. If Manchester City go there, Guardiola could go there and get a draw and be happy with it and know that he's going to win the title. They've got 2 games after that against Chelsea. I think they play another. Chelsea and Tottenham, I can't remember who they play. But they could have the Premier League title wrapped up by the Champions League starts again and throw everything at the Champions League. That's what he wants. He doesn't want to lose this game. Man City will be delighted with a point. Liverpool, they can't win the title even if they win this game. They're finished. So I think the unders. I think we're sort of on a similar kind of level where we're seeing this. And George has come up with a good bet there, Man City to keep a clean sheet, which I like as well. But I think if you're if you play, if you ask me how I would bet it over and under 2.5 goals, I'd probably be 10 to 11 each of two. So 1.9, 10 to 11 over, 10 to 11 under. To get 2.27 on the unders, especially with the trends we've seen this season. And obviously the weather at the weekend up north, they reckon there's going to be more snow, rain. Every single game on the telly in England has been absolutely dreadful weather, which is definitely bringing the goal line down. And I think that the under 2.5 goals would be the bet in that game.
Thing is, I know obviously we've got a terrible record there, but we've had opportunities to do it. You look back to, I still have nightmares about it. Last minute penalty, Mahrez decides to absolutely balloon it over, and there's been so many other opportunities we've had to score. So you sort of wonder. There comes a time, and there comes a point. Is it just psychological? We're going to Anfield, we don't win here, and it can kind of inhibit you a bit. But if there's ever been an opportunity to win at the moment in terms of form as well, this has got to be it. So you've got to think.
But do you agree with Nigel that Pep Guardiola might just go? I don't think Nigel said this definitively, but do you think there's a chance that Guardiola could go there and just not even really, force their hand too much and try and just keep a clean sheet and keep it?
I don't think so. I don't think that's Guardiola's way. He tried that against, for example, in the Champions League against Lyon. Then that was the first time I'd seen him think, right, let's just act defensively and try and sort of ease our way through the game. And we got done over on high profile on the main stage. That's not the way he wants to do it. He wants to go out there and go for the win. But if you look at our fixtures coming up between now and March the 6th, so we've got Liverpool away, and then we play Spurs at home, Everton away, Arsenal away, West Ham at home, and then we round up on March the 6th against Man United at home. They're all massive games against many teams in the top 6. You come through that with 4 or 5 wins, we're obviously title's done in my book.
The trouble is, George, is that other teams are dropping points. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Other teams are dropping. It's not like a season before where you've got 2 teams going head to head and one's got to win the freshest on the other one. This season, Man City could still win 3 of those games and it's still win the league because Leicester are dropping points. Man United are getting turned over at home against Sheffield United. Liverpool are being beat by Burnley and Brighton. I mean,
I think the biggest thing is the fact that there's only one team that could possibly catch Manchester City, and that's Liverpool. I think we can pretty safely say that none of the other teams have a chance of, they're not even close to Manchester City. And looking at their record at the moment and how far ahead they already are, the only chance, if you could dream up a team that could possibly get there, it's Liverpool. And considering the margin already, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, I think the other thing is with the Premier League titles over, the games were won in their big games between the two sides. So titles were won. Liverpool beat Man City in the big games and they won the title. This season is just there's no real contenders. Everyone's saying it's the most open Premier League for years, but Man City are going to win it by more than 10 points. I'd wager a decent bet that they'll win. And then they'll throw everything in the Champions League. I'm not saying that Man City would actually settle for a draw, but if Man City are 1-0 up, Man City have got a very, very different mentality this season of winning games 2-0, 1-0, a lot of 2-0 scorelines. They're not like this attack minded 4-0, 4-1 like they have been over the years. And I just feel that they know they can contain, with Diaz and Stones at the back, they'll know they can contain that. I'm 47 years old. I could still defend Firmino at the moment. That's how bad he's playing.
All right. Well, we've gone through a lot there. I did want to point out too that Manchester City, we've talked about the defensive record. They've only conceded 13 goals in 21 matches. That is outrageous. Crazy. And I was listening to a podcast who was outlining their XG, the defensive XG too, and I think it was something around 0.54 a game average or something like that. It's outrageous. The next best is actually Arsenal and Tottenham, who have conceded 20. What was it? Let me have a quick. I think it was 22 goals. Yeah, Arsenal and Tottenham have conceded 22 goals this season. So it's not even like it's close. They've got a 9-goal advantage there. So terrific stuff from Manchester City.